In recent weeks, U.S. Senator Marco Rubio has ignited a firestorm of controversy with his aggressive stance on student visas, claiming a personal mandate to revoke the visas of individuals he deems as lunatics engaging in campus activism. During a press conference, Rubio revealed that he has intervened to cancel the visas of approximately 300 students, alleging that many have strayed from their intended purpose of education to become embroiled in social activism, particularly concerning pro-Palestinian sentiments. His remarks have raised serious questions about civil liberties and the implications of such actions on free speech in America. Rubio's comments reflect a broader initiative within the Trump administration aimed at scrutinizing the activities and political expressions of visa holders. "We gave you a visa to come and study and get a degree, not become a social activist that tears up our university campuses," he asserted. This draconian approach, which reportedly includes AI-assisted reviews of social media accounts of student visa holders, could set a troubling precedent for how dissent and activism are treated in educational environments. The senator's controversial measures have not only targeted prominent activists but also students who participated in less confrontational forms of expression. For example, Mahmoud Khalil, a green card holder and organizer of student protests at Columbia University, was detained by immigration officials under Rubio's directive. Similarly, students like Tufts University graduate Rumaisa Ozturk, who co-authored a critical op-ed regarding the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, have faced repercussions for their political expressions. The op-ed, which condemns actions by Israel, has been interpreted by some as a call to activism, leading to Ozturk's targeting despite her expression of views that many would argue fall under protected free speech. Critics of Rubio's actions argue that they epitomize a troubling trend where political dissent is met with punitive measures rather than open discourse. The irony of this crackdown on free speech within an administration that professes to uphold it has not gone unnoticed. Many see Rubio's campaign as an attempt to stifle dissent, particularly against the backdrop of ongoing tensions surrounding Israel and Palestine, which have sparked passionate debates across university campuses nationwide. As this situation unfolds, it is clear that the implications of Rubio's actions extend beyond individual cases. The potential chilling effect on free expression within academic settings could resonate for years to come, prompting students to self-censor and stifling the vibrant discourse that is a hallmark of higher education. The ongoing developments present a critical moment for discussions about the balance between national security and the protection of civil rights, especially in an era where political activism is increasingly vital to societal progress. Looking ahead, the response from educational institutions, civil rights organizations, and the broader public will be crucial in shaping the future landscape of student rights and freedoms in the United States. As students and activists prepare to challenge these policies, the outcomes could redefine the boundaries of permissible speech and activism on campuses across the nation. In a striking turn of events that has captivated the political and media landscape, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has found himself at the center of controversy due to the inclusion of his wife in sensitive military meetings. Reports emerged on March 30, 2025. Highlighting that Hegseth, a prominent figure in the Trump administration and a vocal advocate for military reforms, has shared classified information in unsecured channels, an act that raises serious concerns about operational security and accountability. The incident came to light when it was revealed that Hegseth's wife participated in discussions that involved critical national security matters. This breach of protocol has ignited a firestorm of criticism, with experts questioning the implications of such actions on military operations and the integrity of the Department of Defense. Including family members in sensitive discussions is a dangerous precedent, said a former Pentagon official who wished to remain anonymous. It not only jeopardizes classified information but also undermines the professionalism expected within the military hierarchy. Adding fuel to the fire, Saturday Night Live humorously parodied the situation in its latest episode, featuring Hegseth mistakenly sending military plans to a group chat that included teenage girls. The sketch served as a satirical commentary on the gravity of Hegseth's blunders, juxtaposing the serious nature of national security with comedic absurdity. The episode's cold open, which depicted Hegseth texting about military operations in a casual chat, resonated widely, reflecting public sentiment regarding the administration's handling of sensitive information. Critics have drawn parallels between Hegseth's actions and broader issues within military and intelligence frameworks. The commentary by David French in the New York Times encapsulates this concern, drawing attention to the risks of a national security structure that prioritizes political loyalty over professional competence. French argues that such a culture is prone to catastrophic failures, as evidenced by historical missteps in military engagements. When a military organization is shaped by political allegiance rather than merit, it can lead to dire consequences. He stated, "This incident occurs at a time when the U.S. military is under scrutiny for its operational effectiveness and strategic readiness. The Department of Defense recently announced significant upgrades to the U.S. forces in Japan, aiming to enhance joint command capabilities amid rising geopolitical tensions in the region. However, the juxtaposition of these strategic advancements against the backdrop of Hegseth's missteps raises questions about the administration's focus and accountability in executing national defense strategies. The fallout from this situation is likely to extend beyond immediate media coverage. With calls for investigations and possible repercussions for those involved in the breach, there is an expectation that this could lead to a re-evaluation of policies governing the handling of classified information. This situation could prompt a critical reassessment of how sensitive information is managed, especially in light of the potential risks posed by lax security measures," noted a defense analyst. As the political landscape evolves and public scrutiny intensifies, the ramifications of Hegseth's actions will likely influence discussions on military protocol and transparency. The incident serves as a reminder of the delicate balance between personal and professional realms in positions of power and the potential consequences when that balance is disrupted. Looking ahead, it will be crucial for the Biden administration and military leadership to reinforce standards of accountability and ensure that operational security is maintained amidst the challenges of a rapidly changing global environment. In a significant turn of events, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the newly appointed Secretary of Health and Human Services, has voiced his intent to roll back gender-affirming care for minors, igniting a contentious debate around the issue. This announcement comes amid his ongoing confirmation process and reflects a broader shift in health policy under the Trump administration, which he now represents. During his recent confirmation hearings, Kennedy faced a barrage of questions regarding his stance on various health issues, including his controversial views on gender identity. In a session with Senator Josh Hawley, a Republican from Missouri, he acknowledged the need for respect and love for transgender individuals, but firmly stated that he would not support gender-affirming medical procedures for anyone under the age of 18. Sometimes love means saying no to people, he emphasized, highlighting his belief that minors should be protected from decisions that could have irreversible consequences on their lives. Kennedy's position comes as he prepares to rescind a rule implemented by the previous Democratic administration which sought to prevent discrimination based on gender identity in healthcare settings. He characterized this rule as anti-science, arguing that it could potentially endanger patients by allowing those morally opposed to gender-affirming surgeries to participate in such procedures. If you're a patient, do you really want somebody performing surgery on you who is morally opposed to that surgery? It doesn't make any sense, Kennedy reasoned. As the debate intensifies, the implications of Kennedy's stance are significant. The American Medical Association and numerous health organizations have expressed concerns that limiting access to gender-affirming care could exacerbate mental health issues among transgender youth, including increased rates of suicide. Advocates for transgender rights have already condemned the Trump administration's recent executive orders as cruel and lawless, arguing that these policies undermine established medical practices aimed at supporting vulnerable populations. In a broader context, Kennedy's remarks reflect a growing trend among Republican lawmakers to challenge the expanding access to gender-affirming care, particularly for minors. This movement is gaining traction amidst a nationwide conversation about parental rights and the responsibilities of healthcare providers in addressing the needs of transgender youth. Kennedy's assertions about minors lacking the capacity for informed consent echo a common argument among opponents of gender-affirming care who often cite concerns about the long-term effects of hormone treatments and surgeries on developing bodies. Meanwhile, Kennedy's first official trip as Secretary of HHS saw him in West Virginia, where he highlighted the state's historical significance to his family and the ongoing health initiatives under the Make America Healthy Again MAHA agenda. This initiative aims to tackle pressing health issues including obesity and the consumption of unhealthy foods, as evidenced by his collaboration with Governor Patrick Morrisey to ban certain food dyes in school lunches. As Kennedy embarks on his tenure, the intersection of health policy and political ideology will continue to shape the landscape of healthcare in America. The upcoming months will likely reveal the full impact of his policies on gender-affirming care and the broader implications for health equity and access in the United States. The discourse surrounding this issue is expected to evolve, reflecting both the societal values and medical standards that will guide the future of healthcare for minors. In a political landscape often defined by controversy and scandal, the nomination of Pam Bondi as Attorney General by President-elect Donald Trump has reignited public interest in her past, particularly a notorious legal dispute involving a beloved dog. This saga, which dates back to 2005, highlights the complex interplay between personal and political narratives in the lives of public figures. Bondi, who served as Florida's first female attorney general from 2011 to 2019, is no stranger to controversy. As part of her nomination, she faces scrutiny not only for her legal background but also for her past actions and statements that have drawn public ire. The incident concerning a St. Bernard named Tank, which Bondi adopted and renamed Noah, provides a vivid backdrop to her career. The story begins during the devastation of Hurricane Katrina, when Tank's owners Steve and Doreen Couture were forced to place him in a shelter. After being relocated to Florida, Tank was adopted by Bondi, who claimed that the dog had been severely neglected and abused by the Coutures. He was dying from heartworms. They had filled his heart, Bondi declared in a 2006 interview, insisting that Tank's welfare was her primary concern. Her assertions ignited a lengthy legal battle that lasted over a year, culminating in a settlement that returned Tank to his original owners. Although the Coutures maintained that Bondi had unjustly taken their pet, this incident has resurfaced in discussions surrounding Bondi's nomination, with critics pointing to it as a reflection of her character. Doreen Couture's poignant statement, "She stole my dog," encapsulates the emotional weight of the affair, suggesting that for some, the wounds of that legal battle have never fully healed. Despite Bondi's efforts to portray herself as an animal rights advocate during her tenure as Attorney General, the narrative surrounding Tank continues to shadow her reputation. In addition to her contentious past, Bondi faces criticism for her handling of sensitive topics as she prepares to lead the Justice Department. MSNBC host Michael Steele recently lambasted her for what he described as a deliberately ignorant approach to information security, particularly in relation to the use of encrypted messaging apps by Trump administration officials. Steele's remarks were ignited by a discussion on the security of the app Signal, which Bondi defended while downplaying potential risks posed by foreign adversaries. This exchange underscores a broader concern regarding the Trump administration's approach to national security, with critics arguing that Bondi's statements reflect a troubling disregard for critical information security protocols. The juxtaposition of Bondi's past with her present role as a nominee for Attorney General raises significant questions about her qualifications and the potential impact of her leadership. Advocates for transparency and accountability have expressed apprehension about how her history might influence her actions in office. As Bondi steps into this significant role, the political landscape remains rife with challenges. The legal and ethical complexities surrounding her past actions, combined with her controversial stances on pivotal issues, suggest that her tenure could be marked by ongoing scrutiny. The memories of Tank and the Coutures may serve as a poignant reminder of the personal stories that often intertwine with the political narratives of those in power. Looking ahead, it will be crucial to observe how Bondi navigates her new responsibilities and whether she can reconcile her past with the expectations of her role. The evolving political climate, coupled with the scrutiny from both allies and adversaries, will undoubtedly shape her approach as she seeks to establish her legacy within the Justice Department. As the nation watches, one can only speculate how these events will unfold and what they will mean for the future of American governance. As President Donald Trump prepares to unveil his most significant round of tariffs on April 2, 2025, the economic landscape is bracing for potential upheaval. Dubbed Liberation Day, this initiative is aimed at reshaping America's trade relationships and reducing the nation's staggering $1.2 trillion trade deficit, but it raises critical questions about the implications for consumers and businesses alike. Since reclaiming the presidency, Trump has taken aggressive stances on trade, imposing tariffs on imports from Canada, Mexico, and China while targeting foreign cars and auto parts. The upcoming tariffs are set to expand this approach by applying reciprocal duties to countries that charge fees on U.S. exports. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced that these tariffs will specifically target the Dirty 15, a group of nations identified as the largest contributors to the trade deficit. While the exact list of these countries has yet to be disclosed, it is expected to include China, the European Union, and other significant trading partners. Trump argues that these measures are necessary to rectify unfair trade practices and stimulate domestic manufacturing. "We're going to charge countries for doing business in our country and taking our jobs, taking our wealth," he proclaimed. However, economists warn that such tariffs could lead to increased prices for American consumers. Mark Sandy, chief economist at Moody's, cautioned that prolonged tariffs might ignite a recession, stating, "If I'm right as that becomes evident, I do think there's likely to be a pivot and backtrack on the tariffs." The implications of these tariffs extend beyond mere price adjustments. Predictions indicate that vehicle prices could surge by an average of $4,711 due to the new taxes, while increased costs for building materials could drive up median home prices by as much as $21,000, exacerbating an already challenging housing market. Critics of Trump's strategy express concerns that the tariffs will disproportionately affect low and middle-income families who are likely to bear the brunt of higher costs. In light of these developments, Wall Street reacted negatively, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average experiencing its largest drop since March as investors fretted over inflation and trade policy uncertainties. The market's decline underscores the apprehensions surrounding Trump's trade agenda, which has already resulted in strained relationships with traditional allies. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has labelled the U.S. a no longer reliable partner, while the EU has signalled its intent to respond with retaliatory tariffs. Trump's recent remarks suggest a shift in tone as he aims to downplay the potential fallout from the tariffs, stating, "We're going to make it very lenient." This contrasts sharply with his previous rhetoric, which emphasized the need for stringent measures to protect American jobs and industries. Such inconsistency has left many wondering how long the tariffs will last and whether they are merely a bargaining chip in ongoing negotiations with other countries. As the April 2 deadline approaches, the global community remains watchful. The ramifications of Trump's tariffs could lead to a significant reshaping of international trade dynamics as countries respond with their own measures. The Chinese government has already stated that there are no winners in trade wars, a sentiment echoed by leaders in Europe and Canada. Ultimately, Trump's tariffs represent a gamble that could alter the course of the U.S. economy. While the administration frames these actions as a necessary step toward economic independence, the potential for retaliatory measures and increased consumer prices poses a significant risk. As the world waits for the unveiling of these tariffs, one thing remains clear: the stakes are high and the path forward is fraught with uncertainty. The coming weeks will be crucial in determining whether Trump's vision of Liberation Day translates into economic revitalization or sets the stage for further discord and economic strain. In an intriguing twist of political and financial strategy, former President Donald Trump has unveiled plans to recruit tech titan Elon Musk to spearhead a new government initiative aimed at revamping the United States fiscal landscape. This initiative, dubbed the Department of Government Efficiency (DOGE), was first conceived during a significant visit to the Lubavitcher Rebbe's grave in New York City, coinciding with the anniversary of the Hamas attack on Israel in October 2024. During the visit, Trump and Howard Lutnick, who has since been appointed as Commerce Secretary, engaged in discussions focused on fiscal responsibility and budget balancing. Lutnick recounted a pivotal moment from their car ride where he declared, "I'm going to go recruit Elon. I don't know Elon, but he's perfect for this." A week later, Lutnick met with Musk in Texas, where the latter expressed an ambitious goal to reduce the federal workforce by 80%, mirroring his controversial actions at Twitter. "We're going to name it DOGE," Lutnick announced, having already secured the name. Musk's vision for DOGE includes plans to slash the U.S. deficit by $1 trillion, aiming for completion by the end of May. This bold approach is part of a larger narrative unfolding as Trump prepares for what he has termed Liberation Day on April 2nd. A date marked for the official launch of the External Revenue Service (ERS). This new agency is intended to collect tariffs from foreign entities, potentially replacing the Internal Revenue Service (IRS) and alleviating the tax burden on American citizens. At a recent cabinet meeting, Lutnick emphasized the significance of this shift, suggesting it marks a turning point in how America engages with the global economy. "This is the day when the rest of the world starts to treat America with respect," he remarked, underscoring the administration's commitment to economic nationalism. Trump himself has positioned this initiative as a way to transform the tax landscape, stating, "Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich other countries, we will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens." The implications of such a shift are substantial. Currently, the IRS handles the majority of federal revenue collection, with over $20 trillion generated from domestic income taxes in recent years. While the ERS could generate considerable revenue from tariffs, U.S. Customs and Border Protection reported $3.1 trillion from imported goods in 2023. Economists express skepticism regarding the feasibility of such a radical transition. Critics like Kimberly Clausing, a prominent tax policy professor, argue that replacing the IRS with an external revenue service focused solely on tariffs is deeply impractical, noting that high tariffs could harm the economy without adequately compensating for the revenue lost from income taxes. As the April 2nd deadline approaches, many Americans find themselves delaying tax filings in anticipation of potential relief from the beleaguered tax system. The notion of Liberation Day has resonated with many who feel weighed down by the current tax structure, with social media abuzz with speculation about what relief might be on the horizon. While Trump's administration touts this initiative as a revolutionary step toward a more efficient government, the underlying challenges and potential backlash from the economic community loom large. The future of American tax policy hangs in the balance as Trump's administration seeks to reshape the fiscal landscape, potentially altering the relationship between the U.S. and the global economy. In conclusion, as Trump's vision for DOGE and the ERS unfolds, the coming weeks will be crucial in determining not only the feasibility of these ambitious plans but also their reception among the American public and global observers. With significant implications for both domestic policy and international relations, this initiative could mark a defining moment in the trajectory of U.S. economic policy.